Thank you for purchasing a TouchTrainer from FlyThisSim. You should be receiving your TouchTrainer any day now if you haven't already received it. You'll probably get it in two or three boxes, depending on what product you ordered. The first thing you want to do is unpack everything and keep your packaging materials, just in case there's a problem with some of the parts and you need to return them. The most important thing in your largest box will be this envelope that says open first. In here you'll have the necessary tools for building your TouchTrainer, and it will also have the manual, which you can refer to during the assembly of your TouchTrainer. Also, this video can be a handy reference to you later on when you assemble the TouchTrainer. When you flip the base over, you'll see all the connection points coming through the top. There's 3 sets of bundles coming out of the main axis, wire axis area, and those are your connections for your computer and your main display. And then this other group of connections that are coming out, and that is for your AUX monitor. Finally, you have one connection point that comes out for your yoke, and that's where your yoke will be placed. Alright, after you pull the base out of the packaging and you flip it over, you'll notice that there are 2 cables that are not attached to anything. Those are labeled A and B, and those are for your joystick and throttle connections. Okay, just take the base and set it onto a flat table. Then unpackage your computer and set it into the slot with the red, or the front of the computer facing out, and the connection points facing towards the middle. Okay, so this is a little bit of a difficult one. You have to slide the TouchTrainer forward just a little bit, enough to where you can gain access to the USB that's underneath there, and that one's going to be labeled B. So take your throttle, which also has a B on the label, and attach your throttle with the USB connection. Next, slide the cable through the small notch on the front of the base and bring it in and attach it, bring it up to the edge of the base, line up the screws with the nutserts, like so. Then use your Allen wrench to screw it in all the way. And you know that you've put your wire in correctly if it's not binding and there's no gap here between the plastic and the base, and that means that you have a good connection. And now when you slide the TouchTrainer back into place, the cable isn't pinched and resting in between the base and the table. It's still up inside that notch, and now you've just made the connection. Okay, so take your planar monitor and set it face down on something soft. Your monitor bracket will not be attached when it's received to you, so just use the 4 VESA screws and just screw those into the back of the monitor, and there'll be 4 of them. So before you attach the monitor to the base, it's a lot easier to make your connections to the monitor because you can tilt it forward like this. There's the 3 cables, 14, 15, and 13, and just match the number. So 13 is power, 14 is USB, and then 15 is your HDMI. Then tilt your monitor back in like this, at which point you're ready to attach it. Now use the two included M6 Allen screws and put those through the hole. And you can hand tighten them with your hand first, and then you also is included with your TouchTrainer an Allen wrench to do the final tight down. Similar to the main display, the AUX display wire connections are best made prior to attaching the AUX monitor bracket to the base. So attach them by plugging in, matching up the number 10 to 10, 11 to 11. That's your HDMI, or actually it's a DVI connection, and then 12, which is the USB. Attach 12, and there you have it, all your connections. Now you can just rotate the display into the upright position and make the connections using the M6 Allen screws. Just tighten them down, and again, use your Allen wrench to tighten this one down, because actually what it does is it flexes the plastic a little bit and brings it down to where the angle is correct, and it makes the monitor stiffer as you crank this down. Okay, next attach the joystick into the base. There is a label there A and another label on the USB extension A. Match those up with them both on top. They'll slide right in. There is a coil of cables underneath here, and just make sure that the bunch goes down into the slot. Set it down into the slot. Rotate the clips into the position so that they are locking into place. So I just rotated them around and just give it just a light snug with the Allen wrench to hold it into place. Now you have solid connection of your joystick. You're going to first want to assemble the left and right brackets to the center bracket. So the left will, as you're facing these things, will be on the left hand side, and the text, make sure that the orientation is the same. So just slide the bolts through, put down a split washer, and then screw the nut, the two nuts onto that side. Use the wrench to attach, just to tighten them down. Then same for the other side. For the right member, make sure the orientation is the same. Put it in there like this. Use the two split washers. And you want to do the same for this side and tighten that down. Alright, now that I have the three pieces assembled, I want to just place it on the ground on just some carpet. And you can see I have left, center, and right. Now find the bracket that it'll say left on the base, right down there. Now what you want to do is position this bracket so that the left is facing the inside, and just lift up on that bracket, and they've got two studs like that, and just place the bolts in there like this. And again, use your split washers and put the split washer in there and bolt it. Put a nut on there, one of the M5 nuts that comes with it. and then tighten it down with the wrench. So again, you have left facing the inside, and the left upright is attached to the left side of the horizontal bracket. Okay, now take your other bracket. This is the right one. Again, make sure that the sticker is facing the center of the stand, and lift it up so it's horizontal, and look for the holes that are available on the right side. Slide the studs through the holes and use a split washer and a nut to attach the right vertical member to the right to the right side of the horizontal member, and again tighten these up using your wrench. And that completes the assembly of the stand. Okay, with the stand still on the ground, start with your center monitor with the label on here that says center, and hang the monitor with one hand like this in the middle, and then move the monitor into position and look down the slot between the bracket and the VESA hole, and you can just do a hand tighten on this. And then use your screwdriver to screw that in. Now don't tighten it all the way, and you can first put in the top two screws, and then once the top two screws are in, then you can do the bottom screws. Now that I have all three monitors securely attached to the stand, now is the time where we want to marry the stand with the simulator. So to do that, it is a little heavy. If you're not very strong, you might want to have a friend help you with this. But just lift the stand up and just drop it right into place, and line it up with the mounting holes that are on the side of the base. Okay, now we're showing you a side view of the simulator, and make sure that you've put the simulator in a location where you want it to be permanently. And this is because once you attach the stand to the simulator, it's difficult to move it around and reposition it to another location. So this is where we want to keep the simulator. So there is a silvery nutsert inside the base there, and I'm going to use one of the nylon washers. And you might have to position this a little bit differently, but just hand tighten the bolt, and then do the same with the other one. And here we have it fully attached with the nylon washer, and just use your Allen key and just snug tight, not tight at all, just a small amount of force to get it in there where it holds. And the process is identical to attach the other side. Now that we've assembled the stand and attached the stand to the base, we can begin making connections to the computer. Beginning from the inside and making reference to the number that's on the plug or letter that's on the plug with the value that's on the computer itself, match them up and plug them in. The sticker or label will either be facing towards you or on top of the plug, and that will help you determine the orientation from top to bottom when you make your connections. Starting from the inside working out, let's start with 3 and plug that one in. Number 2 with the label on the top. The next is C, which is the center monitor. Plug that into there, and remember to screw your cables into so it's tight. And then you have left, so you can plug left in there. Again, screw it in. And right, plug that in. Next up is 4 and 5. That's in another bundle. So starting from the bottom is easiest, and 5 next up. Next you have power, which is 1. Plug that in. And in your final bundle, you have 8 and 9, but you have 3 plugs. There's 2 9s, so depending on whether you're flying with the yoke or the joystick. We're flying with the yoke today, so I'm going to put 9 in there. And the final one is 8, which is the throttle, and that should always be plugged in. You'll have one extra dangling cable, which won't be plugged into anything. Finally, you want to plug in your rudder pedals, which is a separate cable, and that's number 7. And the one that we're not going to plug in, because this is a retail system, is number 6. That's your X-Plane dongle. It's the small blue key that's used to license for commercial software. Alright, the last 2 connections on the computer are on the front of the machine, and that is labeled D and E. Now, the E is your wireless adapter so that you can connect the computer to your Wi-Fi network in your home or office. So let's plug that into E. And D is actually the Wi-Fi adapter for D is inside the base of your mouse. So remove the cover from the back of your mouse, pull out the Wi-Fi adapter for D, and I'm sorry, not Wi-Fi adapter, but your wireless adapter for your keyboard. Now this is for your keyboard and your mouse together. Plug that into D and make sure that the batteries have been placed into the mouse, if they haven't already, with the proper polarities, and then place the door back on the back of the mouse, and make sure that the mouse is in the on position, and you'll see the little red light come on there, so you know that the mouse is working and the batteries are plugged in with the right orientation. Okay, now for your power connections. You will receive 2 120 volt power plugs for your simulator, and these will also work if you're in Europe or somewhere else in the world that has a different voltage, like 230 240 volt. These systems are auto switching to either voltage supply. So you just need to have the proper adapter to go to your voltage. So attach the power to the base. That's one of the 2 cables that needs to be plugged into your power outlet. And then the other cable uses the exact same type of plug, goes into the bottom of the metal box that's on the back of your visual system. And now you have power to both the visual and the base. Congratulations for assembling your TouchTrainer. I think at this point you should be ready to power the thing up and start flying. If you have any other questions or any other concerns, feel free to contact us at support@flythissim.com or our 1-800-866 number, 866-854-2674. Thanks for watching.